next between Master and disciples?
It's good to see you today here on Between Master and Disciples. We invite you to listen to the following words of wisdom by Supreme Master Ching Hai during a small gathering with our association members in Singapore on March 7th, 1993, entitled, Through Selfless Action We Can Attain Fulfillment.
Now, heaven and earth last forever. Why? It is because they are unborn, so they are ever living. The sage stays behind, thus he is ahead. He is detached, thus at one with all. Through selfless action he attains fulfillment. Now we try to understand all this highly sophisticated philosophy of old. Actually, the sage is not that correct, huh? Earth doesn't always last forever, right? We know in some ages past, many earths have been destroyed. Is that right? Yeah? And also some galaxies have been exploded, etc. Maybe heaven lasts forever. What he means is that heaven and earth do not attach to the theory of birth and death. They have no ego to recognize their birth and to accept death. Understand? Therefore, whenever they last, they last. They do not worry about the tomorrow, and they do not try to accumulate any merit, virtues, fame, or possession. Now why do we have to suffer birth and death, or the so-called birth and death? It is because we do not behave like heaven and earth. That's what my thinking is, huh? Many times I have tried to convey to you the message of the everlasting life of all beings, of the everlasting nature of us. But then you would ask me again, then why do we die if we are everlasting? The question is correct, but the answer is we don't die. We only change the garment. Just like yesterday, I greeted you with different clothing, and today is another one, for different purposes, or for refreshing our presence. In the same way, we do not actually die. We are just changing. We change. Just like when we were young, our body is a little bit smaller, yeah, and our action were more limited, and our understanding were also limited. And also, when we grow up, we have a bigger body, but the body changes all the time, right? You were the same Mrs. So-and-so 10 years ago, but now your body has changed into a little bit different appearance. Is that right? And therefore, similarly, when we pass into another so-called dimension or so-called level of understanding or different environment of action, we changed into new appearance, new clothes. And that is the process of so-called dying or birth. Actually, we, the original self, never die. But because we are so used to with this outer garment, the body. So when the body decay or disappear, then we mourn for it, we cling to it. Therefore we suffer the so-called death. Otherwise, we, the owner of the house, would just look upon the happening as just one of those events that should happen to the so-called human life. Once we pass through human life, or we finish the human lifespan, we pass into another dimension or another kind of environment in which we may exercise different power, different understanding, and we will perform different action according to the new environment. Now we have heard of heaven and hell. How have these actually have been created? It's just because of our different preparation while we are in this stage of so-called human level. Just like a student prepared for a higher class, we must therefore prepare for a higher kind of consciousness. So if while on earth or attending this human class, we prepared for a higher level of intelligence, then we will arrive at another class which is called heaven. Should we, while attending the human classroom, hesitate to learn or neglect our lessons, then we do not pass the exam. Should we become more mischievous and offend the teacher, or maybe make trouble in the school, then we might be warned or reprimanded, or maybe punished. Then we will be pushed up or put into a different places, or maybe a grade lower than a present grade, just to warn of our behavior. So this is called hell. Of course, naturally, everyone detests hell and aspire for heaven, or at least human status. Human status is reserved or granted for those who were not fit for a higher grade of study. We have to repeat the class. Yeah. If we repeat the class, it is not so bad. We can take another exam next year, and also we'll pass to a different higher grade. If we have not even the worth to repeat the class and be punished, or maybe we're not intelligent enough to attend this class, then we have been put in another different class. Or worse, sometimes have to be put into a room and locked there for Sunday or something like that, writing all the lessons that you did not want to learn while having opportunity to do. Now, if in the human class we try to accomplish all our duty and also prepare for a higher examination of heaven, then after we leave the human class, a human being level, then of course we will attend a higher level. Understand? So that's what we prepare in practicing meditation for. That's why we meditate. That's why we prepare virtues and intelligence which are higher than required at the human level. For example, most of the people in the world would consume animals, meat, and doing other kind of actions which we do not do it in our meditation group. It is because we prepare for a higher level of living, a high standard of living. And also, most of the people in the world, they only meditate in the worldly affair. They meditate on their possession, their beauties, their belongings, anyhow, their material belongings, and their material relationship. We also do the same way because this is human duties, human standard. On the extra level, we prepare more for heaven. Understand? Not that we run away from the society or do not perform our duty or having to wear ragged clothes or smear our face with ashes in order to scare people away. And we live a very normal human life, but more above that, we prepare for a higher value. And after we finish our human duties in this class, we are ready and fit to go to the so-called heaven. Should our intelligence and preparation exist, then we go to a higher heaven. Therefore, in our meditation system and group, we have required ourselves to be pure, humble, and loving in every way. And moreover, we prepare the wisdom for a higher life. Because in some more civilized planet or level of consciousness, people are more intelligent than our earthians. Their intelligence exceeds anything that we could imagine on this earth. For example, sometimes we have seen some trace of higher intelligence from other planets who sometimes visits our earth in so-called UFO. These are not fairy tales, but they are existed, and we have evidence from different sources. Yes, we have read them sometimes on the newspapers. Is that not so? Right? Yeah. Now we come further to the other section of this poem. The sage stays behind, thus he is ahead. He is detached, thus at one with all things. Through selfless action, he attains fulfillment. Now, who is the sage? And what is the quality of a so-called sage? And why does he stay behind? So that he is ahead. Why he is detached, but he is at one with all things. The sage is what?
A wise and great man.
A great man. Oh yes, right. A wise and a great man. But we have many wise and great men in this world. Are they all sages? No, huh? So what is the more quality about a sage? A spiritual, yes, right. He has to have very high spiritual quality, yes. But why such a great man, wise and spiritual, stays behind in order to be ahead? Why does he stay behind? Behind what? Behind whom? Stays behind means he's very humble. Yes. He doesn't always press forward and try to proclaim to people about his heavenly quality and his wisdom, except when it's absolutely necessary, requested to do so. But even then, the sage would not do it with such an air of importance or self-glorification. That is what it means by staying behind. Actually, to say a person is humble doesn't mean he always go around and bending his head or bowing himself to everyone on the street or wearing such a very ragged clothes or humble appearance so that people think he is very humble. The humble atmosphere, we will feel it in whatever the sage does. Doesn't matter if he is scolding people even. You still feel the humility from the so-called sage. Is that right? Have you experienced this? Yes? Okay. Then you have seen many sages in your life. But even then, people will respect him, the sage. Even the sage is very humble and never push himself forward. This is the master of oneself and the master of all things, but he never feel himself a master. Doesn't matter what the outward appearance or the outer utterance, he himself never feel that he is a master. Now in this path, yesterday I have told you that we try to show you the way of the sage, of the master. Therefore you will be master of yourself and then the master of your environment. The mastership of self-confidence, of self-control and humility and compassion, loving kindness. Not the master or the lord of the people who will be subservient to him. This is the difference between the master of the world and the sage, or the master of heaven. Yesterday, last night, I have tried to tell you that doesn't matter how great a master is, and doesn't matter how much we worship him or her, we ourselves must not forget to become self-master. And this is the path that since ancient times all the masters try to convey, to teach us. We should not be slavery any longer. We should not act in an inferior complex way of living. Understand? The sage try to show you how great you are, and you remember your original greatness, and therefore slowly you regain your dignity and saintliness. Therefore I have told you that I do not use any miracle to attract you or to make you worship me, because you and I are the same and equally important, equally wise, equally great. If I am any great at all, then you are also equally great. If we are so much attached to the outer greatness of any master at all, we might longer forget our own greatness. So it is better for us to look inward and try to recover our own greatness instead of always looking outside for something that is not lasting. Miraculous power, healing, and all these things are not everlasting, as you very well know. Even if I heal you today by miracle, tomorrow you have another sickness. And I will not be able to always prevent you from the natural law of the universe, that whatever born must be destroyed. And the body is very ephemeral. I will never be able to prevent the law of the universe to operate. So what the sage tried to teach us is like that, to point directly to the eternal, the everlasting wisdom and the everlasting self, that we will never die. Therefore we will never have fear whether our body is in trouble or our body will disappear, because we will know that this is not important. We are forever lasting. Understand? We might feel regret for a little bit. Just like if your car is being knocked over, but then you have insurance, right? So you feel very safe and secure. You buy another car, right? Only when you're not insured, then you suffer a lot. You never can probably afford to buy another car again like that one. Therefore you're in great sorrow. Similarly, if we have a master who knows the secret of the ancient sage and teach you that, and you are secured, you have insurance for life and forever. So it doesn't matter how many body cards be knocked down or damaged, you will have another, maybe even better. So many people who have insurance for their car, when their car in accident or somebody damaged it, they don't feel unhappy, right? When I have sometimes seen accident on the street, if the car is damaged, they're not worried. I say, oh, we insured. Is that right? You all have cars, you know, is that right? Ah, yeah. Only when you're not insured or you steal somebody else's car, then you're in trouble. Now, similarly, when we practice the Kuan Yin, the light and the sound method, which come from heaven or from our own great self, we are insured for everything. Therefore, the disciples can afford to live a very ordinary life and enjoying all that the world offered through God's grace and God's arrangement. But they will never be attached to these things. And because they have a better happiness, a more secure, more confidence within themselves, that the worldly upheavals will never can affect them. On the other hand, other people who only enjoy the worldly sensual pleasures and the worldly beauties, they have their sorrows, they have insecure feeling, and of course after the so-called death process, they try to come back again and cling to another kind of so-called life. They are not free to go to a higher sphere. They do not know a better way of living. They do not know the universe have more better places for them, and they do not understand their own power and greatness. Everyone who practices the Kuan Yin method, the method of heavenly light and sound, will be glorified inward. They feel their value, they know their worth, and therefore people of their surrounding feel interested in them. So they draw attention from other people, and people often respect them very much and give them some kind of heading position, not in society perhaps, but in any gathering. You probably have experienced these as you progress on the spiritual path. People just automatically come to us and ask many unsolved questions according to their standard. And then you'll be able to help them to ease their sorrows and to elevate their understanding. That's why the sage stays always behind, but he is ahead, because people respect them and feel their inner energies and wisdom streaming forth, helping all who comes to him. He is detached, thus at one with all. The sage are those who practice heaven, light and sound, who are at one with all things. But he is never attached to anyone in particular. Therefore, sometimes the people who practice the wisdom of heaven seem cold and aloof, but it is not the case. They just love all, but never attached to one. Therefore, sometimes after we get initiation and practice the Kuan Yin method, the worldly people who are very much attached to us sometimes feel that we neglect them. But it is not the truth. It's just that now we have the greater love, the more universal, the detachment, and not possessive nature. Therefore, we love, but we don't possess. We help, but we do not attach. And if the people of the world still on the worldly level and just things according to outer appearances and action, they probably think we became cold. But it is not true. It's not that we always have to hug somebody or embrace them in order to express our love, but we do love them. This kind of universal great love will never bind. It will only heal and elevate. Therefore, one person who became saintly, probably the whole family, environment, friends, or nation will become elevated to a more saintly nature. This process takes place sometimes very quickly, very fast. But people do not understand why. The sage understands, but without knowing. The sage will not claim to be the reason behind all these changes, but he somehow understands it. He might not directly know that he is a cause, but he will watch, observe and understand that the change should take place, and it's naturally that it has happened. Yes. Because after we practice for a long time, we will feel the oneness of all things, of 10,000 things in the universe, the oneness between you and me, of yourself and myself, that we are from the same source. We are of wisdom, of love, and of oneness. Therefore, he cannot just pick out one person or one being in the universe and say, I love that person. Is that not so? Right? Yes. If this is the whole, from the forehead to the toe, is your body, will you pick one particular and take care of that toe or thumb? This is my beloved. Huh? Can we do that? No, it would be ridiculous. We might say, oh, my lips is beautiful. Yeah, I'm proud of my hair. oh, I love my thumb. Maybe, but we equally love other parts of the body, because without each part of our body we cannot live. Is that right? We will not be able to exist happily if we cut them or damage one part of our body. We will get hurt. We will feel very, very hurt if we are still in sensitive feeling. Understand? Only those who are numb, who probably have trouble, do not feel when they touch fire or damage part of their body. The ordinary sensitive human beings feel any trouble in each part of their body. Therefore, the sage is a very ordinary human being. Is a true great human being, because he feels for all things. That's why we do not harm other sentient beings. That's why we become vegetarian, to nourish ourselves, to nourish our love for all beings, because they are all one with us. If we want to ever attain the wholeness of our real self, then we should take care of all beings, because they, each one, are part of ourself. That's the reason. Not because the precepts say so. It's because of our sensitive feeling. The more we practice oneness with the heaven and earth, the more we become sensitive to the feeling of every sentient beings in the universe. And we automatically try to preserve them. Of course, in some case when it's absolutely cannot avoid, then we might choose the least troublesome, the least harming, like we eat vegetarian. We would rather not eat, but we just have to. Understand now? Yeah? Now, through selfless action, he attains fulfillment. What is selfless action? Doing without doing. How we do that? Naturally, without thinking, purposely try to proclaim the victory for it, right? Okay. Now, through selfless action, we perform our duty every day. Now we are training to become a sage, to do without doing, like what the Lao Tzu says in Tao Te Ching. He said to do without doing is the best service. Now, at human level, or at the student of beginners, we cannot actually always do without doing. But we try. We are training, right? We are in training. So what we do now, we try sometimes, if we give somebody something, we immediately try to forget it. If we cannot forget it, at least we try. And we never mention it again to someone else, just to proclaim our goodness. That is already doing without doing, but in a coarse level. Sooner or later, as we progress on the spiritual path, we actually will do without doing. Not only that we give on the right hand and don't let the left hand knows about it, we truly do without knowing. We will appear in 1001 place at the same time, but we don't even check on it. We don't even know. We give so much merit, virtues, and assistance to the whole world or universe, but we don't even bother to think whether we do it. Understand? And this is the highest level of do without doing, of selfless action. And we will arrive at this level only after consciously practicing the heavenly light and sound, the Guanyin method, which means practicing on our great self. So now this is the highest level that we will attain. Understand? That we have no more ego. That we do everything absolutely selfless. Okay.
请问师父哈，我打坐时常都不能入定啊。
啊哈，那我替你入定就好了，不然怎么办？有的时候我们太紧张了，太急了要入定，反而不能入。你就打坐嘛，自然就好了。依照师父方法做下去，入定就好，不入也好。打坐就是已经好了啦。懂不懂？我们已经把闻声口意精进了，然后外面的东西我们已经放下了，已经对我们已经好了一阵子了。所以还有的时候有空的时候，就我们也可以打坐，懂吗？我们可以眼睛闭起来啊，我们集中在智慧眼啊，就我们真的打坐的时候，我们就会精神比较集中。不要等到打坐2个半小时，就在那边急得要命。我已经1个多小时了，还没入定，还有5分钟就到2个半小时，怎么都没入定，那当然入不定咯，懂吗？你时时都出定，怎么能入定嘛？所以我们做自然就好 ，OK？ 好，不客气。我们做工作那个比较没有用头脑的工作就比较简单。然后我们一坐下来就定了，懂吗？就是有时候我们工作用头脑太多，用知识成分太多，回来那个头脑还很乱，还没办法马上静下去，所以比较难了一点。那你工作是什么？
我是做复印的。
是修观音法门以后，使我们越来越单纯，越来越轻松，越来越自在、舒服、快乐。佛菩萨或是名师就没有形状了。不过在物质的世界，我们没形状就看不到，所以变成一位佛这样子，有肉身。懂？我们人有2个好力量、坏力量，看谁比较壮的话，那个人就是做主。我们修行观音法门以后，我们那个主人越来越壮了，占多了百分比啊，那个否定的力量就要离开，听懂？
Hello, Master. I'd like to check with you. Normally, before I sleep and after meditation, and sometimes the desire to just continue my Quan is strong, so I just sort of concentrate and just lie down. And maybe I tell you 2 occasions whereby I seem to be back, but in the past. But it's a funny past. It's as if it's in the medieval times kind of thing. And it's like a show, a sort of a story telling me, and I wonder, because when I came out, when I got up, I was still meditating. And I could feel the presence there. And another occasion, I felt the electrical forces, and I thought I was dreaming, but yet I woke up. I know I was trying to call for my husband, and call for you actually, because these are experiences that are new to me, and I know that whenever it's new, and I call for you just for reassurance. So, but the problem is I don't know whether, am I meditate? Is this part of a meditative experience, or is this just a state of mind because I was meditating before I went to sleep?
What do you think? Whatever it is, it's your experience. State of mind or meditation experience is the same. If you feel good about it, it's okay. Actually, when we meditate, we pass through many different levels of consciousness, and sometimes we reverse back to our past lives, because sometimes it's connected with the present situation, just to let you understand some of the happenings at the present, why it happened so, because the past was so. Understand? It helps you sometimes. If it's necessary, the Master will let you see the past. You saw the past, very long way?
Yes, and the good thing was that after that, it's sort of, it's just like when I cry, I was telling you last night, it's sort of something just let go, and I felt better, and it seems to help me.
Yeah, then it's
progress.
good, that's good. Well, that's the experience for. So you know more about yourself and the present life, so that you're relieved more of the blocked emotion, and you heal yourself mentally, physically, and everything else. Huh? And when you feel electric shock, that is probably the vibration was so strong. But it wasn't unpleasant.
No, it was not.
No,
It was just something very new.
It's not electric shock. It's just a vibration trying to collect itself and bring you up. But then you were scared in the middle, so you drop back again in the earth. So don't blame me for not taking you up. Just be quiet and enjoy what's happening. You will not die. Huh? We have to be courageous and accept whatever happens. Of course, when we are in a different level, the vibration is stronger. We are not used to it, but it doesn't mean harmful. Understand? Yes, yes. Okay. You are funny people. You want experience, you want to be up and all that, but then when take you up, say, I have nothing to walk on, I come down. You always bring a suitcase where you can jump back in immediately. You don't want to go into heaven and the air and all that, but you want to go to heaven, and then you want to stay on the earth because secured. But the earth is never secured. It's never enough security for you here. So we might as well learn to be without security, but that is the greatest security, because we don't rely on any more material security. We rely on ourselves. Understand? So that's what we train you to be great and alone, and the master of yourself and the universe. If you couldn't just be lifted up for a while, then how can you be master? The whole universe is yours. You have to run up and down, flying around to visit. And you just lift it up a little bit and say, I want to walk on. Understand? And you're scared. And then you spoil the whole program. And you won't have another experience again until 2-3 months later. Yeah, that's the problem. More question?
Hello, Master. I would like to ask a question on behalf of my husband. He's dealing in the buying and selling of bird nests.
Because the bird nest is not killing. And I also do not forbid you to eat it. It was also asked me in Indonesia about this. I said, I don't forbid people to eat this. It's just my personal. I personally would not eat it because I don't feel it's very compassionate to force the birds or to spit until they bleed even. Understand? And we have so much nourishment in the vegetable kingdom that we don't need to force birds to do a natural thing just for our health, because it's not absolutely necessary. Understand? We don't kill the birds for it, but sometimes they spit until they die even. Understand? Because we stole the nets from them, and they have to try their best to make another nest. Therefore they spit themselves until they don't have any more spit left, and then they bleed, and sometimes they die. I heard it like that. Yeah? If he practice higher, he might feel that he wants to change the job. But it's not forced issue. You choose what job makes you more comfortable and you think is more harmonized with the universe.
Yes.
All right?
Okay, thank you, Master.
Okay. Sind Sie Deutsch?
Von der Schweiz.
Schweiz. Schweizer Leute sind sehr intelligent.
Okay.
Disziplin.
Das wir lernen von Kind auf.
Switzerland is very respected from the whole world. Yesterday I mentioned about your country. Wir sprechen English, weil die Leute hier sprechen English. Yesterday I mentioned about your land in the airport. I say your people, they have guns, but they don't use. That's very, very rare and very respectful, very respectable, and it is very worthy for other countries to study the policy of your land. Yeah. Fantastic. Yeah. I never heard a thing like this in another country. That's why your country is so powerful and respected, because you know to keep peace with preparation for war. But you don't use war on a peaceful scale. This is beautiful. I think all the nations should learn this. but it needs discipline and high quality of moral to keep to the law of non-violence like your country does. I'm very interested in the policy of your land, and I wish that your nation prosper all the time and keep in this way of harmony.
亲爱的师父，亲爱的师父，弟子诚心和非常感谢师父今世能传给我观音法门。相信以前还没有修行观音法门以前，非常排斥这个回教徒。修行观音法门以后，而且以师父的教理来跟回教徒来谈吐，那些回教徒都很能接受师父的教理。反观我们身为华人，可以进基督教，可以进道教，也可以进佛教，但是师父的教理这么开通，还是很少人能应心。那些回教徒呢，当他一听到师父的教理的时候，他们的心里和眼神中一直表露出哇，很想希望能见到师父。
以这种情况来讲的话，现在不管师父这个观音法门好不好，我已经把你和那个回教徒已经和平弄和平了，是不是？以前你很排斥回教徒，你现在不排斥了？
不排斥。
哎呀，你以前对他们不公平，你现在就懂了，因为师父的教理的关系，那应该以这种情况来讲。谁都知道师父是和平者嘛，是不是？没有师父的话，你还跟回教徒打架是吗？那他们就应该感谢师父啊！任何政府如果知道这种情况，应该知道师父是和平者，就不会阻挡你们做任何事情了。意思说，做这种和平的那种使命了，是不是？所以你们做什么好的事情的话，当然要有知心咯，懂吗？我们知道我们的目的很单纯。我们知道我们的做事那个结果非常好，那我们当然要有知心要继续努力想办法做得到 ，OK？ 是这样子。我们心要肯定做事也肯定，讲话也肯定不怕障碍，好吗？这样才是真正的有修行，才真正的有开悟，是不是？修行还怕还有。那种小白兔的精神，那就算人吗？God bless you. You bless yourself.